So now for some reason, you guys really love watching pros and cons videos about Dallas. And honestly, I get it. It's not just Dallas. We all do this when we're thinking about making a move or a purchase. Truth be told, I recently just bought a Kindle that I love, and I watched a ton of videos on both YouTube and TikTok about all the pros and cons of the different Kindles as well as the different types. So it was really great information. And I know when you are making a move and relocating your family, that checking out videos and doing your research is super, super important. So there is no surprise that one of the videos that I'm gonna talk through today is really popular on the channel. And let's be real, everything absolutely has pros and cons. And if you ever watch my channel, you already know I don't really sugarcoat Dallas. I wanna be very honest about what is great and what's not. There are about 300 to 400 people that move to DFW every single day. And I've been here for 20 years, so the Metroplex has changed a lot. And if you are thinking about making the move, I wanna make sure you have the good, the bad, and the ugly. So in this video, I'm actually going to rewatch one of my old videos on my channel. This one has almost about 10,000 views, and I made it about 10 months ago. So I wanna kind of give you an unscripted version of the pros and cons of moving to Dallas and kind of recap what I've talked about before. So I'm gonna tell you what I still agree with, what I would change, and a couple of pros and cons that I didn't even mention back when I made this video. So let's get into it.
Of about 1.3 million people, making it the third largest city here in Dallas, Texas, and the 9th largest in the United States. The median home price of a home here in the area is around $350,000.
Okay, so I want to give you guys an update there because that video I made about 10 months ago, and the median home price as of today, which is April 2026, is $360,000.
Manufacturing. So the first pro that I want to tell you about is that Dallas is known for some really cool and eclectic neighborhoods. One of those being the Bishop Arts District here in Oak Cliff. This neighborhood puts you right smack in the dab center of the art and some of the trendiness of the city.
So I still agree with this. We do have some really eclectic neighborhoods, and I like to make sure I point that out in my videos because oftentimes when people think of the metro or even come visit, they may only think of the sprawling suburbs that we have. And Dallas really does have some really cool neighborhoods in Dallas proper, like Bishop Arts, like Deep Ellum, like Uptown. These are really more like your urban cities. And if you're visiting downtown, these are some of the areas that you would be able to explore.
So another really good pro of living in Dallas is going to be that it is a true melting pot. There are people that are moving here from all over the world. And so because of this, you'll get a lot of different experiences and definitely a sense of community depending on the area that you live in.
So I completely agree with this. I am working with many of you every day who are moving to the area, and you guys are from so many places. I am currently working with a client from San Antonio. I'm also working with a client from Houston. I'm also working with a client who is moving from Florida. So as I said earlier, that DFW has somewhere between 300 and 400 people moving to the area every day, that it really truly is a melting pot of people from all over. And if you meet somebody who is local or native to Dallas, they are a rarity. So you definitely should pick their brain about what they think about the area since it's changed so much.
Dallas has a lot of lakes. Now, if you're coming from an area that has oceans nearby, this is going to be a con for you. But for those of you who like to get out there and do a lot of lake activities, whether it's jet skiing or even just going out fishing, this is going to be a pro because we have tons of lakes.
Okay, totally still agree with that. And I wanted to make sure I mentioned that because Dallas comes off as very flat and not a whole lot to do, not a lot of hills or oceans, of course. We are in the middle of the nation, but we do have a lot of lakes. And according to Google, there are just under 60 man-made lakes and reservoirs. And some of the most popular ones include Lake Louisville, Grapevine Lake, Lake Ray Hubbard, as well as Joe Pool Lake. So if you are looking for activities to do on the lake and wanted to make sure you're spending some time outside with family and friends, then Dallas has a plethora of opportunities when it comes to lakes for that.
People are kind of often shocked by this to learn the amount of trails that we have for hiking, biking, mountain biking. So there's so many activities for you to do if you're one of those outdoorsy people.
So I still agree with this. And again, I wanted to make sure I mention it because I lived in California for a little bit, and outdoorsiness on the West Coast is just top notch. And it's a really amazing experience. But with Dallas being so flat and kind of being centrally located where we are, if you are moving to this area, just know that there is golfing, biking, hiking. You have all of that available to you if you are an outdoorsy person moving to this area. What I will caution you on though is that it's hot, so be prepared.
So another pro of living here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is definitely one that I benefit from because I love to travel, is going to be proximity. Because the DF airport is so close, depending on where you are in the city, you can jump on a flight and typically get anywhere that you want fairly easy, especially because Texas is centered right in the middle of the nation.
So definitely still a pro. A lot of times when I am working with clients who are moving to the area, one of the decisions that we're making on where they move is how far they are to the airport. Because not only are they traveling a lot for work, but they also may be traveling a lot to see family and friends. And not only that, getting on the plane out of pure pleasure, right? So DFW, of course, has a DFW airport, which according to Google is the 4th busiest airport in the world. And we also have Dallas Love Field. So between those two airports and where you are in the DFW, you will have super easy access to get on a plane and get to your new destination.
DFW is going to be the hub for American Airlines as well as Southwest Airlines. So this makes it fairly easy for those of you who like to travel. So another pro, it's also one of my favorites, is going to be the weather. I am super cold-natured, and so I actually prefer to be in an area that has mostly warm weather.
Okay, so nothing's changed here. I am still very cold-natured, and I do agree that one of the pros of living here is the weather if you are prepared. So many of you are moving from the north, Chicago area, Indiana, Minneapolis, and a lot of times you are moving specifically for the weather. Like if I ask some of my clients, what brings you to Dallas? They will name family, friends, work, but there is definitely a lot of times where weather is on the list. So here in Dallas, the climate is what they call humid subtropical climate. So it's very hot, a lot of hot summers, and the winters are fairly mild. Just this past January, we had 3 snow days. That was it. 3 snow days, and everybody was back to work and traveling. So the weather is really nice here, but just be prepared for the heat.
About the DFW area is going to be shopping, eating, and entertainment. If you love to shop and you like to eat good food, Dallas offers all of that. There are so many shopping areas here in DFW, including the North Park Mall, Galleria.
Okay, so still stand by this. Dallas is not without its food, restaurants, as well as shopping opportunities. And in this video, if you go and watch it, I kind of mentioned some of the major shopping malls, but there are a lot of boutique shops and local shopping that is here in Dallas as well, especially if you're hanging out in some of the downtowns of each of the suburbs and cities, as well as downtown Dallas. You will get to access some local shops and local vendors, which is also amazing as well. And then the food scene, it's really, really great. I've talked about this before, but one of my favorite places to eat is in New Orleans, and then DC, and then New York. And then I love Dallas. And because I live here, we get out. We are foodies, we eat a lot. And if you are looking for some good barbecue, good Tex-Mex, Dallas has a plethora of opportunities when it comes to food. So now real quick, if you're watching this and you're seriously thinking about moving to Dallas, whether it's next month or later this year, I talk to people every single week who are in the exact same position, trying to figure out where to live, what areas that fit their lifestyle, and what to expect. So if you want help mapping out your move, you can contact me with the information that is on your screen, or you can utilize the link below to book a call directly with me so we can talk through your plan.
So another really good pro about living here in Dallas, and also just the state of Texas overall, is that we do not have state income tax.
So this still holds true. The state of Texas does not have income taxes. And so that is the reason for for some of the influx, as well as some employers moving to the area. And it's because it's a benefit that can be offered to their employees. So for a lot of people, it makes a lot of sense. And ultimately, it really just depends on where you're coming from and what that income state tax you were paying for before, especially if you decide to become a homeowner, because we have property taxes, which is a con that I'll get to here shortly.
Pro of the Dallas area and also Texas overall again is that Dallas is a hub for many large corporations. There are many companies moving here to the area that creates kind of that awesome growth.
Okay, so this still really holds true. Dallas has a huge corporation presence, and again, contributing to some of the movement that we're seeing to the area and all of the growth. And some of those companies that have a huge presence here include companies like AT&T, Southwest Airlines, Texas Instruments, as well as Toyota North America. So a lot of that movement over the last 10, 20 years, some of the headquarters even moved, has contributed to Dallas's growth. So we talked about the pros. I definitely want to get into some of these cons and see if I feel the same way. And I definitely want to know your thoughts. Let me know if you live in the area, what are some of your pros and cons about living in Dallas?
For sure is going to be the traffic. Because of all the growth in construction, this can often lead to a lot of traffic delays.
Okay, so nothing about this has changed. I have been in Dallas for 20 years, and not only has the traffic not changed and increased, but the construction is constant and consistent everywhere. So if I'm talking to family or friends that live in DFW, they are probably complaining about construction in that area that has nothing to do with another side of town. There is literally construction all over DFW. It's almost as if the civil engineers just cannot keep up. But I will tell you what's cool is that I did a video on the pros and cons of living in Dallas back in like 2021. And back then, Dallas was on the top 10 of the cities regarding the worst traffic. But according to Google, in a recent report, Consumer Affairs, DFW is number 14th on the list of US cities with the worst traffic. And Houston and Austin also made the top 20 at number 7 and number 15. So that's interesting. I have to go back and look and see what cities have made the top 10. But even though we're not in the top 10, I promise you, it doesn't feel like it. The traffic is horrible.
So with the traffic comes kind of another con, which is going to be the Dallas highways. There are a lot of highways here. So if you're not used to that, it can actually kind of be overwhelming. It's easy to miss exits and it's easy to miss your turn.
Okay, so not only do we still have a ton of highways in DFW, now they're adding toll roads everywhere. So now we have express lanes everywhere, off 635, off George Bush, off 35, on some highways that we didn't even have toll roads before, or express lanes. They've added those to them. So we had to endure the construction of that for a long time. And then also, if you live up north in Collin County, there is an area off of 380 that has been expanded from, I want to say somewhere between, it was already 2 lanes on each side to now it's about 4 to 5 lanes on each side. So they've completely expanded 380. So there are not only a ton of highways, but there's also a ton of expansion and expressways being added to those highways. And another thing I want to mention when it comes to the highways, I've told you guys before, I have family from Oklahoma. So Oklahoma is just really not that big when it comes to the highway needs. And here in Dallas, because we're so massive, we have a lot of overpasses, and those overpasses are really, really high. So it's so funny because for me, I never really thought of it much. I just kind of drive on this really high overpass. But anytime I've had people in the car, they comment like, oh my goodness, we are really, really high. So that is something that's interesting about our highway structure as well.
Living in the Dallas area is going to be its public transportation. We actually spent New Year's Eve this past year in New York, and it was so easy to get around. I cannot imagine having a simple public transportation system.
Okay, so this still stands true. Dallas is a car city unless you live in Dallas proper. You know, there are some circumstances where you don't need a car, but in general, if you move to DFW, a car is ideal because we just don't have a robust transportation system. We have a transportation system that's just enough to get you to the airport, just enough to get you to Fair Park if you need to, just enough to take you, you know, from Denton to Uptown if you want to go. It's really just enough. It's really not robust compared to other metropolitan areas.
So another con about the Dallas area is that there's really not a lot of bike lanes. There are some cities that are really bike friendly and very conscious of the people that are biking.
Okay, so I mentioned this, and this is not necessarily specific to the suburbs. This is specific to Dallas proper. If you go in downtown, and if you go to other downtown cities and metropolitan areas, the bike lane is just a way of life. They have bikes everywhere, and the bike lane is a part of the roads. And I think it's a really cool way to commute around something that is usually could be walkable as well. And Dallas just doesn't do that well in this area. There are some areas that we have bike lanes, but I just feel like if you live in downtown Dallas that you should be complaining to management to have more bike areas, more scooter areas. I just feel like it would be a little easier to navigate, but we do need to really improve in this department.
Income taxes, but one of the cons is actually our higher property taxes. This is something that can totally catch people off guard, especially depending on where you're moving from, that our property taxes are actually higher than the national average. Again,
okay, so not only does this still stand true, but I am seeing some of my clients be caught off guard by our tax bill here. Okay, so just so you know, the national average for property taxes ranges from anywhere between 1 to 1.5%. But here in DFW, we are paying anywhere between 1.5% up to 2.9%, depending on the area that you live in. So this is a really big con. And I know that a lot of people are moving here. We don't have income taxes, and homes for the most part are still fairly affordable, but your property taxes can change every year. So even when you buy a home, your property taxes can increase over time because your home's value is increasing over time. So this is really important, something that you want to make sure that you're considering with your budget. And not only do we have higher property taxes, we also have areas that have a MUD, which is a municipal utility district assessment tax, or a PID, which is a public improvement district assessment tax. And those are just extra costs that the developers have passed on to homeowners, which can not only affect your property tax bill every year, but it also can affect your resale value. So it's just really something that you want to make sure we're having a conversation about and that you're considering when you plan your move to the area.
But because we have higher property taxes, there are some breaks for those of you who are homeowners. For example, we have a homestead tax exemption. We also have a veterans exemption, as well as a disability exemption.
Okay, so all those are still true when it comes to property taxes. So I like to caution my clients about how much property taxes are in DFW, but there are some tax breaks. So you want to make sure we have a good conversation about which ones you're eligible for to kind of help relieve you of some of that tax liability. So this is another con.
Considering homeownership in the area is also going to be the average of our homeowners insurance. The national average cost of homeowners insurance right now is around $1,900 a year, but in Texas, and specifically the DFW area, it is around $4,500 a year.
Okay, so this is still true. Our homeowners insurance cost has skyrocketed, and a part of me feels like that's just not Dallas, that I feel like other areas in the nation are feeling some of the inflationary increases of our homeowners insurance, our car insurance, but then also here in Texas, because we've had a few, hurricanes and tornadoes and other things like that, there are certain areas that have been more impacted by homeowners insurance costs than others. And now the Texas average right now is still somewhere between that $4,000 to $4,900 per year, which is still some of the more higher homeowners insurance costs in the nation. And according to Google, the national average for homeowners insurance in other parts is roughly between $2,500 and $2,700 per year.
So the final con I want to share with you guys is going to be the air quality here in the Dallas area. Dallas struggles with this because we have so many cars on the road and so much car emissions.
Okay, so I thought this was funny because I don't feel like air quality is talked about as much here. When I lived in California, when you log into your phone app, like air quality is like right at the top. But here it's not really talked about as much, although I know people are all the time dealing with allergies and sinuses and things of that nature. And so our air quality here is poor, and a lot of that contribution is because of we're a car city. So really something to think about if you're moving to the area and what kind of sinuses or allergies you may be dealing with. And sometimes I have clients that move here and there's like a little bit of an adjustment period for them to get used to the climate and the air quality, and they kind of acclimate after that. So yeah, just something for you to be mindful of. Definitely still a con. Okay, so I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I've never done anything like this before, but I wanted to go down this to see, like, do I still feel the same about some of the pros and cons of living in Dallas, and kind of review one of the top rated videos on the channel. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you're thinking about moving to the area, make sure you check out the video where I break down the differences between Dallas and Fort Worth. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.